attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our Environment, Health and Safety webinar series. Today's session is about adapting the emerging new normal with SAP EHS. Before we begin the session, I would like to take you through the functionality of the webinar platform. The session will be recorded and the link will be shared to all the attendees later this week. Your participation is important all through the session. You will see a control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. The orange button on the top right side of your screen can be used to collapse and expand the control panel. Through the session, the staff will manage the Q&A functionality. If you have any questions for our speakers, please enter the same in the questions window on your control panel. Your queries will be answered at the end of the session. All attendee microphones will be muted to prevent any distractions. Our speakers for today's session are Mr. John Wilson, Global Center of Excellence, SAP Digital Supply Chain, Mr. Yogesh Nagpal, Global Head, EHS Center of Excellence, YASH Technologies. As you could see, this is the agenda for today's session. So John will talk about SAP's vision and commitment towards EHS. And Yogesh Nagpal will cover the following topics: the new normal after the COVID-19, SAP EHS solution for pandemic management, and cover the solution features and highlights in detail. I now request John to take over. Over to you, John.
Thank you so much, Arti, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. As Arti mentioned, my name is John Wilson from SAP's Global Center of Excellence, focusing on our digital supply chain portfolio. I'm based in Australia, but support customers all across the Asia Pacific region. And I just wanted to start the session, I guess, by looking at the high level around where SAP is heading and where environment, health and safety fits into that overall picture. SAP for the last several years has been using a term we call the intelligent enterprise. And really this is about moving from traditional operational systems that we see on the right-hand side here that maybe focus on our customer data or our supply chain data or our finance data. These systems often are very transactional in nature. They gather information, they store that information, they make it available for analytics, but they are very much focused on the what's happening. What we need to do is, in order to be an intelligent enterprise, is to think more broadly than just our operations, but actually to think about the experience that we deliver. And that experience might be the experience we deliver to our customers, but it also might be the experience that our employees have working in our organization. It could be the experience from a society point of view around our corporate responsibility and our engagement with the community. It may be the perception of our products and our brands. So combining that experience information together with our operational information, we get a much more complete picture of our true impact on the world. And in order to do that combination, we need intelligence. We need tools and technologies like machine learning, the Internet of Things, that allow us to combine this data and to generate actionable insights. Now, SAP's environment, health and safety portfolio is part of this picture. It's part of our manufacturing suite. And we have a broad range of capability, and we're not going to cover all of that today. We're really going to focus on the elements that are relevant to managing a pandemic and to managing the testing and the incidents that may occur. This is all about managing the risk. But what I want to highlight here with SAP solutions is that they really work at the enterprise level. So these solutions are designed to support global operations, much like our ERP solutions. They are modular but integrated and unified, and they support real-time analytics, real-time process. They integrate with our mobile solutions to be able to provide access into that data for everyone within an organization. So we have full support across our security and our role-based access, and available as part of our core ERP platform. So if we look a little bit into the capabilities of the environment, health and safety portfolio, it is able to track the full life cycle of incidents. So this might be from the initial reporting, maybe it could be an actual incident or even a near miss, all the way through investigation and through to corrective actions, ensuring that those actions are not only identified, but that they are actually carried out. So, what we're trying to do is create that full feedback loop to ensure that, that our organizations are becoming safer places to work, and that when issues do occur, that we're taking actions to address them. We're also able to assess risks, and this might be environmental risks. It might be specific risks related to the machinery or the equipment that we operate inside our facilities, and that risk then can then be used in other parts of our processes. So, for example, in asset management or within our human resources skills and qualifications. I mentioned the ability to support mobile, but also offline options, so that you don't have to have access to the system to be able to report incidents. We want to be able to capture all of those incidents as soon as they occur, and be able to pass that information through. And one of the key things, from an SAP point of view, is that we provide a complete repository that enables us to track all the regulatory compliance requirements, so we can ensure that that not only are we adhering to the local regulations and legislation, but that we are able to provide evidence of that and assurance to our customers, to our employees, and to our other stakeholders that all of this information, all of these processes are being properly managed. So this is not, environment, health and safety is not a new topic for SAP. In fact, we have more than 25 years of experience building this capability and building this portfolio within the SAP suite of solutions. It all started back in 1995, and the focus then was around our products, around the components that go into our manufacturing process. And that quickly expanded then to include incident management, occupational health, emissions management, as we approach a world where we need to manage, things like greenhouse gases and other chemical emissions that we may have. And a lot of that work in the first 15 years was actually done with a partner. And in 2010, SAP actually changed that relationship. We acquired that partner, and we made that environment, health and safety capability part of SAP's core platform that we owned, maintained and managed. And since that time, we've seen a tremendous amount of renovation occur within the portfolio. We readied it for launch within our next generation ERP in 2015. And we continue to invest, and we continue to expand that portfolio, delivering a contemporary look and feel consistent with all of our next generation solutions. I might make the point here that for almost this entire journey, YASH Technologies has also been supporting SAP and implementing our EHS solutions as part of this 25-year life cycle. So the final point before I hand over really is just around the value of the SAP Environment, Health and Safety solutions. And I mean, in this current environment with the current pandemic, there are immediate needs around, managing the health and safety of those on the front lines, those who come into contact, and so tracking exposure, tracking incidents, tracking testing is obviously tremendously important in that environment. But what we see in the broader, economy, broader industries, is there is a need here as industry reopens and the economy restarts, that we need an ongoing management plan. This pandemic, unfortunately, is, I think, going to be with us for quite some time. And so it is really important that we put in place the appropriate processes, the appropriate solutions that enable us to manage that environment, the new environment we find ourselves, the new normal. And that, that is what Yogesh is going to talk around, how we use the environment, health and safety capabilities to do exactly that. But, the last point I want to make really is around the benefits here. And these benefits come at 3 levels. There's obviously the corporate level, which is around visibility. How do I understand the risk that I have inside my organization? How do I put in place the processes that are going to deliver compliance? And how do I empower, the people, whether it's my customers, whether it's my employees, my other stakeholders, to drive that safe way of working? Of course, for those of you on the call who are EHS practitioners, all of this comes with a lot of effort in many cases today. And so really what we want to do with the solution is make it much easier to manage the additional activities that need to occur, provide simple ways to track compliance, to track the actions that need to occur, and of course make sure that we have that overall visibility and single source of truth. And then, of course, from an operational point of view, it's all about safety. We want to make sure that our workplace is as safe as it possibly can be, and we want to empower the people working and interacting with us to be able to, to not only initiate those processes, but see those processes in action and, understand what is happening within the organization to provide that level of protection. So with that, I think before I hand over to Yogesh, I think we have a poll question that we might want to ask. So Arti, if you can push that question, encourage you to all to respond, and then Yogesh, over to you.
Thank you, John. Sincerely appreciate you laying the background and highlighting the SAP's commitment towards EHS and industry business pain points, and how SAP has been evolving and continuously supporting business requirements from the industry. I hope you all can see the screen. That over here I will take over and I will talk about the new normal in COVID scenario. Everybody is going through, I think, our life's first and hopefully the last pandemic, which we are seeing, which has shaken the world. This COVID situation has never been anticipated before. And what we foresee is that the life has really taken a different shift. The way we work today, the way we live our life today, was all different what we were doing yesterday. And the same thing is going to continue when I talk about my workplace. So when I go back to office, whenever it is the right time and the safe time to go to my work, there are a lot of things which are going to change into the environment. The social distancing, which we are following, all of us are following today while being at home, has to be followed at workplace as well. Today, when you see, yesterday the situation was you all used to work in a closed environment. If you are a manager and you used to have a cabin, people used to walk in your door. Visitors, there are a lot of visitors, and there are various marketing people. Everybody who was getting into the office is not going to be same again. There are a lot of rules, policies, procedures which will be defined around social distancing. Working remote, I think nothing else we can talk about it in this today's scenario, which has, I think, worked for all of us. Today we are connected on this webinar remotely. We all are able to deliver our day-to-day outcome business if it is moving, it is because of this, I think, remote connection. So I'll say that working remote is going to be new normal, even after we kind of say move to workplace, because we all have lived this life, and it's a proven fact that work can be delivered. Yes, it will be, it is impacted over a period of time. We all will get to the level where we want to, but this definitely is the right foundation and right, I think, progress forward on working remotely. Redesigning the safety processes. This is absolutely critical. As I mentioned, that many of the operational things, many of the functional layout, even your cafeteria, even you call it as your working meetings, how you used to have your safety briefings, tool talks, a lot of these things are going to change. And safety procedures are definitely going to take a new vision, so that we can build a safe workplace. We always have been doing so far, but now safer workplace has a different meaning, which is more aligned to my pandemic situation. And finally, I think a strong emphasis on personal health. Till today, a lot of this information, which was used to be confidential and very personal to yourself, now it needs to be part of the organization structure, more from a perspective of the taking care of the other employees at the workplace. So about your temperatures, about your vaccines, about your previous health condition, these details may not be needed for us to maybe record some of this information as a proprietary details, but more to understand that are the people who are working in close by environment are safe and again being taken care of appropriately. So yes, the life is going to be different. The new normal is coming our way, and we have to adopt to the new normal by using technology. So if I have to put together a framework or call it as a stepwise approach, I think mind reads numbers and diagrams and figures better than text. So over here, what we have done is that we have created a small, I think, process flow, which possibly seems like will work for my scenario. So assume yourself that you are working for an ABC manufacturing company, ABC chemicals. When you go back to work, the first thing we are saying is that if your office, your HSE team can send you a preliminary health checklist by which you can declare some of the information that are you suffering from any fever? Did you had any cough or any such situation in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks time frame? What is your age? Do you have any critical illnesses? Based upon that, the team at office can identify that are you good to come to office, or you should be probably taking some more time rest. Again, as mentioned, it is not about your health only. It is about the health at work. It is about safety at workplace. So we are talking about a larger community at risk. So once everything goes well there, you reach your office and office gate. And at that point of time, we still need to have an on-site health surveillance. Call it as my thermal scanning, which identifies your temperature. It makes sure that you are well sanitized, and then you enter into the office. In the office, various illnesses, we have to continuously monitor the social distancing, continuously monitor the illnesses, any injuries, all those things probably, if it can be done through remote, rather than going to your supervisor, talking to your manager, try to kind of leverage the technology, open up your handheld device, report something, and push it across. Push it across as a notification to the area supervisor, who then will trigger a risk assessment if it is a need, or an audit management, again, digitally. Goes to the next set of people, again, through a mobile notification and workflow mechanism. They receive it into their inbox, work on it, create the corrective action and task management. If it calls for a training, a notification and workflow goes to an HR manager or HR team. If it is for maintenance, it goes to a respective person, and then probably the loop gets closed. You see that digital technology, the mobile technology, workflow mechanism is definitely the need of the hour today, more than ever before. And finally, again, data and analytics to say that how well we are performing in this respect is something which everybody at all different levels, be it at a site level, at a country level, or an organization level, this will definitely be helpful. Let me get into the SAP space and see how SAP solutions can address to this business problems or this so-called suggested business roadmap. I think John pretty well explained this the solutions landscape. a mature solution landscape which covers the entire spectrum of health and safety management, which goes from an incident management to risk assessment, chemical approval, management of change, and a lot more. But if I talk specifically about my COVID situation, my pandemic management situation, we are going to focus and highlight on these modules which you see on the screen. An incident reporting, incident management with mobile reporting, occupational health, risk management, audit management, and your HR system. So all these solutions have been combined together, packaged together to give you the value, to give you that business process flow which we just talked about. So a couple of slides in explaining that solution. So as I mentioned, a checklist has been created as a first step, which can be triggered on your handheld devices, on your computers, while being at home or before joining your office, you may always pick up that checklist, fill that form, and send back to your HR/EHS team. When they take a look at that data and form, they will be able to, again, analyze that, again, really, can you be brought into the office at this time? Or as I mentioned that, is there any separate recommendation? With these forms, when it goes back into the database, it triggers multiple actions. Again, I use the power of workflow and notification. It sends the notification to facilities team saying that this employee should not be given an access for 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time because of his current health condition, ensuring that the risk of contamination or risk of spreading the pandemic is not only contained by choice, but by force. Similarly, an HR team gets into action to have in close contact with the employee to boost up his morale, to give all the necessary guidance, to provide him all the support. And similarly, an EHS team is working towards and identifying the contact tracing. When this person was there in the office last time, who was there, who all people were there into the shift along with him. So I think multiple people get into the action with your one form. Again, power of ERP, power of SAP, power of integration. I think that's what lies behind the scene. I talked about mobile reporting. Explaining it a bit further, we can now report various injuries, various illnesses, or suspected health cases. Again, if you see that close contact scenarios, you are seeing a lot more. If you're seeing that your cafeteria is not suited, you have 2 desks and 2 work chairs which are close to each other. Rather than going and talking to somebody in person, I think using technology and devices is always going to help. Again, I mentioned about how the notification process works. Even if you have to trigger for a sanitization, as soon as the shift is over, there is a process in place to go for the sanitization. What if you see a suspected case, you have to basically evacuate the building at a short notice, call for the sanitization. Again, use technology, use the same application to trigger actions, to call for action, the respective team members, and get them into the action. And again, everything what we do over here is being tracked into the real-time integrated dashboards, which can be presented at all different levels. Risk assessment and mitigation, an important aspect of your EHS operation. We are making it enabled on your desktop with the help of easy workflows and with the help of easy notification. Again, the triggers of this risk assessment, approval about risk assessment, triggering a risk assessment, giving it a priority, creating actions can be done through mobile application as well. A lot of this, whether it's related to health surveillance, whether it is related to environmental, whether it is related to safety, all different templates and checklists are being built in and being provided as a package, a part of this solution, so that you are able to leverage it and probably create some of this action or perform some of this action within minimum time frame. Workplace audit, a very important aspect to your day-to-day lives. All the EHS professionals who are there into the call would value this point. The importance of audits and inspection. Various types of health checks, various types of compliance audits. Now we are trying to build. We have built into the mobile devices, so you can use these mobile devices to perform audits and inspection. With this COVID-19 situation and the exceptions and incidents being raised around this scenario, inspections and audit is going to be definitely a more aggressive and more rigorous task and activity than ever before. So again, this functionality, again being available on mobile, is always going to help us in a longer run for sure. Dashboard. Everybody wants to measure its performance, how the things are going, how it has been effective. You see that there are dashboards which we have created within the system. A simple dashboard which tells you about your COVID-19 story for your organization, how many susceptible cases, how many confirmed cases. I think if we probably have a kind of seen the power of the information in the last 1.5 months, 6 to 8 weeks time, I think everybody is counting, everybody is keeping a track on the number of cases around your country, around your globe. What if your EHS manager would like to track it at your organization level? In fact, many of our customers, Fortune 500 customers, are following this practice. In which country, how many cases have been reported? About those cases, how many probably have been able to recover? How many are critical cases? Because this again is not only about the health of your employees, but also your business continuity, which the planning has to go into it about when you can expect them back. When do you think your team is ready again to function with no risk to rest of your manpower, rest of your employees? Then there are dashboards which are available around audits and risk as well. How many audits, how many risk assessments were created? How many inspections were expectedly due within this week? How many have been completed? So a complete performance analytics in a visual form, which lets an EHS manager, an operations manager, a plant manager, and the site manager, or I call it as the production vice president, anybody at a senior level see the performance in one single view or in one single highlight. So now we will get little bit deep into the pandemic management solution. As a partner to SAP and with guidance from the industry experts, with leading EHS managers from various industries, and our solution architects and I think renowned, I'll call it as the principal secretaries and people around the globe, we came up with this solution architect and layout, pretty much following the same set of guidelines which was called out in one of my earlier slides, talking about the business process flow for comeback with a COVID management solution. So if I talk about the COVID management solution, pandemic management solution in SAP, this is the scope which has been built in, which has been kind of covered into the system to meet all the possible requirements from the system. So maybe at this point of time, you may see another question, another poll question on your screens. I would request you to probably reply to that question, and I think I'll continue in the meantime. These questions help us understand that which areas again are making more sense for yourself, are the areas of your interest, and definitely how these things, how we envision this program to help you, probably are we aligned along with the industry experts or not. So going further into the scope, you see we have taken all critical components like incident management, audit management, risk assessment, occupational health, all these standard functionalities have been taken and tailored to deliver the value which probably are being expected from this pandemic management solution. A lot of dashboard related to the COVID number of cases, dashboard related to the, again, facilities upon that selection. You can always go into that level of depth and can check your performance on the dashboard. Similarly, if you talk about workflows, you see how the information flows from the EHS team to the people who are planning to get back to work or when they are expected to get back, between the site managers and the reporting person, supervisors who will trigger the root cause and corrective actions as a part of the incident investigation or risk assessment, and similarly maintenance and housekeeping and facilities team for respective action. A lot of reports, OSHA reports, Factories Act, BGW reports are being provided as a standard package, investigation report, risk summary report, an action tracking report, which says how many action and tasks were open, how many of this probably were closed in time, how many are overdue. This gives you a complete visibility about your task management functionality and module. So this solution has been packaged because we wanted to deliver something to you in quick time. Whereas some of this module in itself can take weeks and months to deliver. The idea behind this entire packaging this solution was around delivering a value quicker. We all are in a need to get something done tomorrow, and that's where I think this solution is leading us towards. So all modules which are in scope and some solution features which talk about like pre-configured. Again, there are certain terminologies which I would like to highlight here. These are industry best practices terminology, but this is very important as we get into the details about the solution. So this solution is a pre-configured solution, which means when we get it across to you, it is like a ready-made product to yourself. It is like a plug-and-play solution. You start using the solution, we make those necessary changes. We call it as configuration changes or the database changes, the minor alignment which is needed as per your company requirement, and then just get you going. We talked about health checklist, talked about the smart forms, we talk about the workflows. These are already the part into it. The mobile application is being extensively used here in multiple modules to deliver the power of digitization, the power of mobility. And then smart analytics and dashboards, which are absolutely critical. There are certain dashboards which come as a part of it. More dashboards can be created as per the need. So the scope has been kept tight because the underlying fundamental of a package solution is that we define a scope, we give a short timeline as well as a cost to it. So you know in what time frame, what you are getting, and this is, as I call it, as easily digestible and chewable chunks. Tomorrow, the solution is still wide open for you to expand to other functionalities. I'm sure that many of you would be thinking that if I buy this solution, can I talk about the detailed incident process? Can I get into my ergonomic risk assessment tomorrow or not? Can I do my environmental risk assessment or not? The answer to all these questions is yes. The functionalities and modules are available to yourself. The processes which are needed on today's scenario have been pre-configured, have been packaged, and have been brought into you as a product. All other things probably can fall in line after we probably come out of this situation, or based upon your appetite if you wanted to go further at this point, at this time itself. You see, I was talking about a quick time. Yes, you see it right. This entire solution scope, which we talked about a slide before, can be deployed, can be delivered to yourself within 12 weeks of short time. It is less than 90 days. And it includes the support of 2 weeks hypercare, which probably calls for a training and hypercare, and we usually call it as enabling your business users to start using this application. So something like, as I say, again, 10 weeks of time will get you going with this solution. With all mobile applications, with all risk assessment, incident management process, with all dashboards we talked about, the checklist, workplace, definitely this is something which is the need of the hour. SAP understands that need. SAP is working with partners to deliver the value. YASH joined hand with SAP to bring this value on the table, and that's where the solution comes. The solution can be made available to you at starting cost of $150,000. Again, that's a base price. As we get further details, further into it, we can talk about the numbers. There are a couple of things which are important. When we talk about this package solution, if this package solution and pre-configured solution is a new terminology for yourself, this is still that SAP structure and SAP licenses still remains intact. So you still will go back. This is not a YASH product. YASH has packaged a standard SAP solution to a business-specific scenario, to address a specific business problem. So you will go back, you will still go and get the licenses from SAP. Partners like us can definitely help you, or you can go through your SI to get the appropriate licenses on EHSM and incident management and analytics, whatever is relevant here. More importantly, the scope of the solution is tight today, but as I mentioned, can be expanded tomorrow based upon your business requirements at no additional cost in licenses. There may be additional cost from a functionality perspective, but having these licenses always open up the doors to cover anything and everything in the platform of risk assessment, incident management, audit management, environment management, analytics. Everything, the entire spectrum is open for you to expand and go into the lines for your future requirements. Since this is a short time frame, there are certain prerequisites. I'm sure when we get into the next level of details, we all will get in there. But we definitely need your involvement and support in this 10 weeks of time, because every hour, every day is crucial. We would like this 10 weeks, 12 weeks of time to enable you onto this system, rather than probably getting into more of the kind of, say, the nuances of the business process alignment, because this solution has been built in based upon the inputs and experience from various business leaders. Your inputs are highly welcome. We absolutely look forward for that. But assume, and I think this just get confirmed, that the solution which is coming your way has a vetting from world ERP leader SAP, which is being used across more than 80% of the manufacturing site today. It has a vetting from the leading industry HSE professionals, as well as the scientists who are working into this space. If I have to summarize the benefit of this solution, I think the right picture completely very well depicts the storyline. If you see, the time is something which we are trying to concise. We really wanted to bring down the implementation time to something which is like tomorrow, which is like within weeks. And that's where you see, with the help of best practices, with the pre-packaged approach, and with using the expertise from YASH and SAP together, we are able to concise the time to as good as around 65 to 70%. And other business features, we talked about some of these the business benefits, pre-configured workflows, dashboard, faster implementation time. Key here, based upon the business best practices, addresses a specific business problem holistically. That's being covered in business ready solution. Predefined checklist so that you can use those forms without much customized. Mobile application, I think probably these are the things which I would like to highlight as a key business benefits. These are this solution is pretty much ready. If you see, these are some of the screenshots from the working and the live system. The solution is again available to yourself. See that how the dashboard is being. It has how the Fury screen or the access screens look like, how the audit screen looks like. The mobile screen is pretty interactive, where you can fill your details and report. So in our next series of this webinar on 2nd of June, the focus is going to be showcasing a detailed insights into the solution, going for a solution demonstration in SAP system. We would highly recommend you to come and join us on 2nd of June to have a detailed overview into the solution. Again, at this point of time, you may see one more question coming your way. Again, your response is highly appreciated. Look forward to that you respond to this question as well as you have been doing before. I'll take a couple of minutes about talking about YASH. So, John, thank you when you mentioned that we have been closely engaged with yourself for years. So YASH got formed in 1996. Coincidentally, SAP EHS started its journey in 1995. We were just a couple of months late. February 1996, YASH was formed, and we did our first EHS project in year 2000. It has been 20 years we have been delivering value to our customers. Some of the customers, which include Dow Chemicals, Chemtura, Monsanto, John Deere, Caterpillar, Stryker, many other customers, Petronas in Malaysia, if I can take about that, Tasni Petrochemicals, and working in hand with SAP to build and innovative new products. In fact, when in the year 2008-2009, when compliance was in place, YASH collaborated with SAP to talk about the REACH registration, the product compliance regulation at that point as well. So the highlight is to mention that this subject is not new for us. We have been into this for years, for decades, and delivering value to many respectable clients like all of you. We are strategic partner with SAP. We have a global center of excellence, which means our consultants and our presence is all across the globe. Around 500 plus years of experience in consulting and implementation, handled large projects for government agencies, federal companies, Fortune 500 companies, mid-sized companies, even for these startups. A small startup in India who were looking for an innovative waste management solution was being again delivered along with a partnership with SAP Southeast Asia and YASH, which is still considered as one of the differentiator products into the waste management industry. So a lot of such projects and credentials go along with, again, already demos, and I will say that we definitely are apt, suitable to deliver value to yourself as well as we are delivering to the leading Fortune 500 companies. A quick minute onto our customer case studies. You see that sometimes this question comes, the ROI on the solution. We have measured and proven the value of implementing this solution by reducing the injuries by 10 to 15%. I cannot give a precise number because of the confidential number. Otherwise, we have a figure, number of injuries in 2018 versus 19. Number of injuries, again, 5 years before versus this year. So those data points pretty much tells that using digitization helps reduce injuries. So this company was using disparate systems. We're talking about a multinational company having presence all across the globe, 40 plants all across the globe, 40 manufacturing locations. We were able to roll out that solution in close to around 14 months. It took time. We're talking about multiple modules: incident, risk, occupational health, environmental management, regulatory compliance, a lot of these functionalities, but rolling out at 40 different plants in 10 countries in 12 languages. So all these people, around 15,000 people are currently using mobile application for reporting and going live and using this application. Interesting, this company has a varied technology stack. Some of their plants are on ECC. Couple of their plants, which again, every big company is being built by acquisition. So some of the new age companies the plants are running on S4, and some of them are still on the old legacy ERP. Some of them are using JDE, PRMS, and whatnot. Today, this functionality, EHSM, has been rolled out as a solution in cloud, which integrates with S4, ECC 6.0, again, definitely EHP 7 and above, and their non-SAP system as well. So your current landscape is not a hindrance towards moving towards this journey, digital journey in the EHS space. Similarly, for a government agency, for a power transmission and generation company, we implemented the solution, and some of the critical requirements from that company or from that agency was to capture the theft of the power. Theft of the power, insurance claims. That power sector is a highly regulated sector in which I think a lot of casualties, a lot of injuries happen. So claim process. So the entire claim process, because of any uncertainty, because of any injuries, because of any kind of a casualty, has been built into the system. So system has the capability and capacity to track your insurance claims and your financial numbers. In fact, some of our clients are assigning numbers and cost to an incident. Yes, a cost to a life can never be measured, but if you wanted to give a quantifiable number, that how much probably our man hours were lost because of incident in this year, those kind of data and statistics are available by using some digital solution around this space. With this, I think I will go and I'll talk about a couple of minutes on this next demo highlight. I hope you all have already registered for this webinar as well. Today was the intent to give you a little bit sneak peek into the solution, how the solution has been built, what are the key functionalities, how it addresses your business problem which is underlying today. We all are going through it. We all need something. Leveraging the technology is the key. Use the technology, use the kind of power of the integration, and I'm sure that the value which will be delivered is not that far seen. In the next demo on 2nd of June, at the same time, the day is a little different. We are doing this webinar on Tuesday, which is week after next, and the agenda is going to be efficient monitoring and managing pandemic situation with SAP EHS Solution Framework. I will also have my solution architect Arun Bhaskar, who will be getting us deep into the solution, and you definitely will learn a lot more in the system. All of us technical people would like to see the system and the screens. I showcased you the overview of the screens, the first look and feel of the screens. Next week, we get into further details and we talk about it. If you haven't registered, registration link is provided. My team will reach out to yourself for providing the registration details and kind of go further into this. With this, I think we will open up for question and answers. We look forward for your active participation. If there are any questions which myself, John from SAP, Arun Bhaskar, Solution Architect, who has been the brain behind this entire solution, we are available here. We look forward for your questions and answering to your satisfaction. Over to you, Aarti.
Yes. So thank you, John. Thank you, Yogesh. So we'll now move to the Q&A session of this webinar. I request all the attendees to please post your questions in the question which is there on the control panel. I'll take your questions one by one to the speakers. So speakers will just give a minute for the attendees to post the questions, and then I'll start asking you one by one.
John, you're there, you can hear us, as well as I think Arun.
Indeed,
So
I can.
we are ready to answer the questions. Fantastic.
Yes.
So the first question is there any provision integrated for updating the changes on the processes, regulations, etc.?
Yeah. So I'll take this question, Aarti.
Okay.
So the solution design has been created guideline. Can you hear me, Aarti?
Yes, Yogesh.
Unmuted.
Aarti, I'm audible?
Yes, Yogesh,
Okay.
go ahead. You are audible.
Yes. So the current architecture and framework which you see into the package solution pretty much has been vetted and validated by leading experts, and this should meet majority of our requirements for today. But if you are into a different country, if you are in Singapore and Singapore asks for you to submit a first report of injury in 24 hours in a particular format, those kind of changes definitely can be built. In fact, if you saw BGW is a report which is being generated in Germany, a lot of these forms come as standard. Many processes, not many regulatory requirements can be built into the system as per the business requirement. I hope that answers the question.
So the next question is, how is SAP EHS module different from other SAP modules?
John, would you like to take that question? Aarti, can you check if John is unmuted?
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Arti. So, EHS is part of the core ERP platform. So the functionality within the EHS solution is there inside our ECC solution. It is there inside our S/4HANA solution. So it is much the same as our core finance capability, our core logistics capability, our core asset management capability. This is all part of what we call the enterprise management, or the enterprise management core part of the SAP solution. There are, some additional licenses. So some of the elements of the solution are licensed over and above the core ECC or S/4HANA license, but you actually have the functionality available there. It's not a separate product or an add-on. It's actually available in the solution.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, so I move to the next question. How to implement EHS system?
Good question. Arun, would you like to take that question?
So I think Arun is also muted.
Yes. Yeah. So to implement this EHS system, like EHS system, these modules, what you see, this instance risk and audit are a package solution coming on top of it. So this can be implemented as a standalone system. So even if you are in some other existing ERP, this can be implemented as a standalone system. But if you're in existing SAP landscape, and if you're using SAP ECC version, probably EHP 7 or above, again, this solution will fit in your choice. And if you're in S/4HANA place, and again, that will be a direct impact, like you can directly use the system as it. Hope that answers your question. Yeah.
So the next question.
I'll just take another 10 seconds on this answer, Arti, if you don't mind. So nowadays, as John was mentioning, SAP has matured over 25 years of its journey. Today, it brings up a lot of business best practices. And when we talk about implementation, we use activate methodology, we use business best practices, we use the kind of enable methodology just to deliver the value to the customer in quick times, and the value which is proven, the value which is aligned with the business best practices. So I'll say that business best practices is the key to deliver or to implement any solution, which makes the journey faster, safer, and reliable. Good, Arti.
Is this solution a prerequisite? Is this solution required? So basically, the attendee wants to ask, to implement EHS, do we need SAP S/4HANA, or does it work on ECC 6.0?
So if you have S/4HANA, then for sure you can take advantage of the SAP Environment, Health and Safety capability. But actually, this capability has been developed over, like as we said, over the last 25 years. So actually, it can run in all different versions of SAP's ERP portfolio, including ECC, and in fact, there's even versions for pre-ECC. The recommended version would be ECC Enhancement Pack 7 or higher, particularly for this package, just because the functionality that we want to leverage, particularly around occupational health and incident management, is of a more mature level in Enhancement Pack 7 and higher. So this would be the preferred level, but you could certainly do it in earlier releases as well.
Okay, so the next question is, this solution is all about handling data, but if we give 100 questions to resources to collect the data every time, then it will be an issue. Do we have any automation in that front to have minimum data collection from the resources?
I'll take that question, Arti.
Sure.
So So data is the key. I think whoever asked this question is a great question. I appreciate you asking this question. So data is the key for any decision making. When you talked about automation, yes, a lot of automation can happen. So again, I was talking about that integration. We have recently come up with an intelligent add-on to that incident management application or incident management mobile application, which actually reads the barcode of your machine and tell you, or equipment, and tells you which equipment and machine this is. When it takes the picture, it can tell you that what is the GIS location for that machine, in which plant, in which site, in which work cell this is available. It can actually give you an option. If it sees some fumes, if it sees some flares, it can tell you it may be an electrical spark. It can be maybe a fire. It may be maybe a heating impact. It can give you a couple of options there, and you pick up the right option. And finally, it captures your ID and your credentials directly on the go because you're logging from your device. So only thing which you have to do for reporting an incident is take a picture and press submit. So these are the kind of advancements which can be done into any application for data automation part. A lot of these things are already being done. Use of artificial intelligence, use of the complex algorithms is heavily being used in SAP all across the landscape. I think you can leverage majority of this as we get into the details at next level.
So Yogesh, just to add to that, I mean, one of the advantages of having this capability as part of the enterprise resource planning platform is that we're able to use that linkage, right? So that we have the information about the employee, we have the information about the equipment, we have the information about the risks that have been assessed. So we're actually able to bring all of this information together without having to ask the individual to repeat all of that, right? We have all of that information inside the ERP. So for a lot of the the EHS applications and the business processes, it's about linking all of those pieces together. And you're absolutely right that the mobile solutions provide a great way to add a lot of rich context. Where am I? What was I doing? And then, of course, adding things like audio, video, images to an incident. So very quickly, you can get a very rich understanding of a particular environment, a particular issue, a particular incident.
Shall I take up the next question?
Yeah, maybe we can take one more question, Aarti.
Yeah, so I will club these two questions. So we have this question as, we are in the implementation stage of SAP Business One. Can we incorporate SAP EHS module in the same? And what will be the cost of adding it?
Can you come again?
Yeah. So this
Sorry, John, you'd like to take
this
that?
relates to so SAP Business One is another variant of SAP's ERP capability. So Business One is really targeted more towards the small and medium enterprise. It has more limited functionality in this area. So the solution that we have been talking about today really is built on top of SAP's ECC, or Enterprise Resource Planning, or S4 Hana platform. You wouldn't have the same capability inside Business One. But if you need this support, I'm sure Yash and the team at SAP would be happy to look at options for how we can provide capability on top of SAP Business One as well.
Thank you, John.
So speakers, with your permission, I'll just take two more questions since the attendees are so engaging and posing the questions. So I'll just take last two questions with your permission.
No problem.
Thank you. Environment-related legal issue which came under the air water monitoring for STP system, is it present in EHS, SAP EHS?
So yes, it is. So there, the EHS solution has a number of different modules, different capabilities. One of those is specifically related to environment management. So this supports understanding the different legal frameworks in which an organization needs to operate, as well as capturing the inputs into that, that environment monitoring process. And those could be captured automatically, so they may come from your operational systems around how much water or how much gas is being consumed or is being output. It can also include manual, manual inputs as well. So if there are particular inspections or particular assessments that are made, in fact, it supports the scheduling of those. And then all of the calculations as well. So you take those inputs within the legal frameworks, the various calculations, and then supports then the calculation of the relevant emissions, and reports that need to be submitted to the authorities. So yeah, very good support within EHS around that whole environment management capability.
Okay. So the last question we'll take, as we are interested in converting our EHS system from manual to digital, tell us something about EPTW implementation possibility.
So EPPW, I assume you mean the electronic permit to work, is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, John.
So this is part of again, part of the employee environment health and safety capability. So typically goes hand in hand with our health and safety module. So in the health and safety module, you may define the risks that are associated with working on a particular piece of equipment or in a particular environment, particular location. And then we have a full process where you can define the workflow that needs to occur, the permits that need to be issued, and in fact you can prevent work from being started until those permits are in place. Those permits can represent also the need for certain qualifications. So in order to work in a particular environment, you must hold a particular qualification, and also support concepts like lockout, tagout. So isolating pieces of equipment, making them safe then for maintenance work to occur. So this is all covered under the work clearance management capability with environment, health and safety. So very tightly integrated both with the risk management capability and also with our core asset management process around managing work orders and resources that are working in that asset management environment.
So thank you, John. Maybe I think what we can do is that into our next webinar, we can spend a very like a little time, like around 5-7 minutes, in talking about the entire SAP EHS suite, and then let our audience and participants walk through that entire spectrum of services. I think that would be a good part to be covered into our next webinar.
Yeah, I think it's clear that there's broad interest across a lot of the different parts of the portfolio, Yogesh. Hard to cover, obviously, everything in 1 hour. So yeah, it'd be good to schedule some additional time, maybe.
Sure.
So John, before we close this session, would you like to say something? Say the closing note?
Yeah, so just in closing, I think what we've gone through today shows the power, I think, of taking an integrated part of SAP's ERP portfolio and building together with YASH, building the business processes that we need to support the current pandemic environment. This is what we've focused on today. There is obviously a much broader range of capability there. But I think it is fantastic, and credit to YASH for putting together this package and putting together this webinar. It's great to work with you on this, and I wish you all success in ensuring that we can manage this pandemic and manage the response and the risks appropriately, ensuring a very successful outcome to all of our customers and all of our the parties that we work with.
Yogesh, just some 10 seconds for you to do the closing note as well.
Sure. Thank you, Aarti. Thanks, John. That I think that well summarizes the entire webinar and the agenda behind. I'll leave my audience with 3 parting thoughts. One, this pandemic, this COVID situation is not going to go away. We have to find ways to get adapted to this scenario, and that can only happen if we do a meticulous planning. A lot of planning has to go in for planning my workplace, planning my work schedule, planning the safety of my employees, how the data flows, and a lot. So meticulous planning is my step 1. 2, leverage the technology. In today's world, leaders like SAP provide a whole lot of integrated functionality for yourself to manage situations like this and beyond to the best possible level. Leverage the technology that makes all our life easy, get into a foolproof and future-proof system. And third, partners like YASH and collaborating with SAP has been delivering value to a lot many enterprises around the globe. Leverage our expertise, give us an opportunity to partner with yourself in building a sustainable roadmap for yourself and your organization. That would be my 3 parting thoughts, Aarti.
So thank you, John. Thank you, Yogesh, once again for providing us such an in-depth insight into this topic today. Attendees, the second webinar of the EHS series will be held on 2nd June at 12 p.m. Singapore time and 9:30 a.m. India time. We want all of you to join us for this webinar where we will be demonstrating the solution. I would also like to thank all our attendees for taking out time and participating in this webinar. Speakers, with your permission, I would like to close the session. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Wish you a great day and rest of your week. Take care.